So Jen, today we have a homeowner that needs our help revamping her garden bed. It's really uneven, it slopes down, and she doesn't know if she should just flatten it or add a retaining wall. What do you think?
Well, from the pictures that I saw, it's screaming for a retaining wall, for
Right,
sure.
exactly what I was thinking. And the good thing about installing this retaining wall is we can add drainage, which means the wall's gonna be there forever.
Sounds like a perfect plan and a perfect job for the two of us.
Yeah, Jenny.
Hi, Olivia.
Hi, Jen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Mark, nice to meet you
Olivia,
as well.
my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All right.
So show us this garden project you're talking about.
Right around the corner.
All right.
All right. So here's the garden.
Okay.
And we do love having it here, but there's kind of two issues that we have right now. The first is that we do live on a main road, so we are looking to kind of have some more curb appeal than we currently have, just give it a facelift. The second thing is the drainage issue. So with all the rain that we get and the gutters running off right here, it does cause a lot of the mulch to end up into the grass, and it's kind of covered these stones that we have in the front here. And we're either looking to kind of level this off or build a retaining wall around it just to kind of keep everything contained in here and make it look a little bit nicer and function better as well.
I like that. Let's look at all of this from a different angle down here.
Okay.
I mean, what I see here, retaining wall all day long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this whole space could be leveled. It doesn't have to be perfectly level.
Right.
But if we run a wall from there over to here and just return it into grade, what do you think, Mark?
I love the idea of a retaining wall. It's going to give you everything in curb appeal that you're looking for.
Right.
We do have some drainage, Jen.
Yep.
We'll bury those. You can see the line on the granite isn't very even.
Right.
Pops up and down, so we'll clean that up, make a straight line. I do not like that window well. Snow builds up and then melts into that window well. That's not good. So
Right.
I think if we drop the grade up here 3 or 4 inches, that's going to expose that window well, and that's going to let us bring the grade into the back of the wall.
Okay.
If I'm looking at a 2-foot wall,
Okay.
that's going to accommodate that 3 or 4 inch drop and also give us a slope into our drainage. So why don't we,
All right. So I'm putting this tape out here so you could just see.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be perfectly level, but
just a guesstimate.
Yeah.
so about a 2-foot
that
wall,
works.
we could roll the grade into the back of the wall.
Okay.
And then address everything else, like keeping the water management, keeping it away from your house.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's
right.
go.
Let's get to work.
First, we need to remove the old edging and downspout extensions.
See you later. All right, so here's what we're thinking for the layout. What I want to do is run a straight line from the corner of this deck all the way down towards here. Okay. And by the way, we've called 811, which is the utility service, just to know that this area is clear.
Awesome.
All right, so what I'm thinking is about to this, like the 28-foot mark.
Yep.
Okay.
Right? And then we're gonna run it all the way down and then return it into here. What do you think of that?
So I think that's great. And what I've actually done, Jen, is I've pulled the tape from that corner of the foundation to this corner of the foundation.
Yep.
174 inches. So I want to take this paint,
Okay.
and this will just give us a rough idea on where we're going to dig.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
And we're digging to put the footing for the wall in.
Right. Okay.
While we could have used shovels, I brought a mini excavator to dig the trench for the wall base and to help us regrade the soil. The trench will need to be wide enough to fit wall blocks in a 4-inch drainage pipe. I'm digging 8 inches deep, but the depth will vary based on the block manufacturer's instruction. After we compact the dirt, we'll add about 6 inches of gravel.
Okay, so we picked this wall because they are interlocking concrete blocks,
Awesome.
and that's going to create the retaining wall. Love the nice smooth appearance.
Yeah.
And Mark's going to tell us how we put it together.
All right.
Okay, this system has 3 different kinds of block. Corner block,
Got it.
finished edge, stretcher block, finished edge in front, and a cap block.
Okay.
If I pick this cap block up, you see that's That's the
Yes.
interlocking system. So it's a
Okay.
tongue and groove, and it really locks down the cap.
Right.
We are going to use some construction adhesive on the cap and on the corner.
Okay.
Stretcher, don't need it.
Got it.
We're going to take the entire system, we're going to put it on a gravel bed that we just prepped, and that's for drainage.
Great.
All right, let's go. Now, the first couple things that I did was I made sure the foundation was square. That's important because I'm going to be pulling my tape off of that foundation, and we need this wall to be in the right place.
Right.
So I know you wanted to bring it out close to the end of the deck,
Right.
which is what I've done.
Awesome.
So the first thing I did was I pulled my tape from the foundation all the way to this area in here, which is 173 inches. And I also did the same down that end.
Okay.
That allowed me to set a stake there and here and run a string. This string here represents the face of our wall.
Okay.
The lower string represents the first course, if you will. The most critical point right here is to make sure that this wall is flat and level.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the most important to have this dead level because the block that we picked is very linear.
Right.
And so if it's off just a little bit, you're gonna see a wonky wall.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we get this first course down perfectly, the rest of the wall is going to be really easy to build.
Absolutely.
So what I have right here is what I call a benchmark. It's just
Okay.
a block. I've leveled it this way and I've leveled it that way, so I know this block and this benchmark is completely level.
Okay.
And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a block and I'm going to spot it 6 feet away. I'm going to make sure that's very, very level. I'm going to do that again every 6 feet until I get down to the end of the wall, and then we're going to know that that first course is perfect.
Okay.
All right, so Olivia, we've been setting this thing up. Maybe we've knocked a couple things around, so I always want to double check before we really get going.
Awesome.
So I have a little square, and I just want to run off the side of my block over to my string.
Yeah.
You can see we're square.
Absolutely.
I also throw a line level up.
Right.
I'll run it across this line as we work backwards just to make sure that we're all set.
Okay.
All right, so why
Awesome.
don't you give me that block? Right there, thank you. These cavities are throughout the first course. You can see them, right?
Yeah.
So before we put the second course down, we're just gonna fill those cores
Okay.
with gravel. That's gonna give us the continuation on the drainage, but it's also gonna give
Okay.
us a little stability.
Makes sense.
So this is where it gets easy. We just now putting it into place. And we're
Okay.
gonna move down just like that. So
So it looks great, but just one question right
Okay.
here. It's looking like it's moving in a little bit.
right. So what we're gonna do is what we call rack back the wall.
Okay.
So we're gonna go back 1/4 inch every single course. Now what that does is any pressure that gets applied from behind the wall, it's gonna push the block a little bit, and you see our tongue and groove
I do,
that we
yes.
talked about before?
Yep.
That's gonna lock this wall into place
Okay.
and be able to resist the pressure that may or may not come from behind the wall.
Got it.
All right, so
right.
let's keep going.
You guys finish on the wall. I'm gonna take care of the grade in the front.
Perfect.
We just want to put the soil halfway up the first course, and that's going to help us with drainage. Okay, now we have connected both of these downspouts to these downspout connectors, and they're connected to this perforated pipe,
Okay.
which we wrapped in fabric so we keep sediment out. And all this water is going to go away from the house to the drainage system we have behind the wall.
So behind these retaining walls, all retaining walls, we have multiple components that have to work together to drain the water.
Right.
So as Jen just told us, this pipe is perforated.
Yep.
And I just wanted to show you the perforations.
Right, I see.
Okay. So that's going to let the water in and travel down the length of the pipe, an outlet on the end.
Yep.
And we have the same situation going on this end.
Got it.
The other component that I wanted to let you know about is the gravel. The gravel is twofold. It's actually going to get the water to dribble all the way into this pipe,
Okay.
but it's also going to alleviate pressure that may or may not build up behind these walls. Fabric paper, Jen.
Now let's just backfill.
All right, Olivia, so you'll be the glue person.
Okay.
Give me some adhesive there. There you go. Great.
About there.
Other side of the tongue. And then square me up. That's great. And give me a little dab right in the middle. I like that. Sometimes it helps me balance.
Perfect.
But you notice that this is, again, tongue and groove system.
Right.
So this is gonna fit nicely. And there I am lined up with the groove.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get my level.
So it does look
Bingo.
like this is sticking over a little bit. Is there a reason for that?
Sure, and I'm glad you noticed that because this is the capstone, so it's gonna get the most water.
Got it.
Water's gonna wanna run off. It's gonna run over this, then down the edge. And this is gonna act as a drip edge, so that's why we're gonna
Okay.
hang it out a little more. Yep, we're gonna
Awesome.
do that on all sides.
Okay.
And the groove helps us do that, so. Okay, that was actually a good bed of glue because I'm perfect every which way.
Perfectly level.
All right, so let's go for number 2.
Okay.
Other side of the tongue, exactly. Okay, nicely done. And again, we're gonna make everything tight. Great.
Perfect. All right, so I've laid out all the plants, you
Yeah.
know, to fill this whole area. I didn't want to have anything up against the foundation of the house. So in this area, I have a boxwood, a green mountain boxwood here and at the other end.
Okay.
Those will anchor the corners.
I love it.
These are all little quick fire hydrangeas.
Okay.
And I picked everything to be kind of low because I just didn't want it to go over your window.
Yeah.
It's far enough away from the house that you have a little access passageway.
Right.
Over here, this is a Delaware Valley white azalea. This is a Cunningham white rhododendron. They both are white blooming, spring blooming plants.
Awesome.
Over here, this one is a oak leaf hydrangea.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful color.
Yeah, I love that.
And that's gonna fill out this area beautifully. Repeated another Delaware Valley white.
Perfect
And the
type.
bonus here, I left this whole area right behind the wall. So you could do bulbs, perennials, annuals,
Okay.
seasonal stuff. But that's the area you could play in.
Yeah, I love that.
You don't want to plant it too low.
Right.
If you plant it higher, it's better. That's good.
Okay.
If you plant it too low, the base is gonna get rotten.
Okay.
I think that looks good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, look at this. It really opens up the space. You have a wall to sit on. You addressed your drainage problem, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looks amazing. I think it really gives us the curb appeal that we're looking for, and I know the drainage issues are fixed because of all the prep work we did, so
Right.
thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem.
You're welcome.
So if you've got questions, keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm Jenn Nawada.
And I'm Mark McCullough for Ask This Old House.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.